I just turned the pigs across to the western pasture. And now I'm going to walk along, tune up my irrigation system down here. You can probably see that the water's running from the right to the left, which is good. I mean, it's irrigating that whole area now. But when the water really starts coming out of the mountain, it'll run the opposite direction because the leading ditch over there is slightly higher. And that's fine too, because that's what I planned it actually. That's why I planned it, because it's running over to the side of a water wheel. Now I wanted you to see this. Those are 3 platforms, the right size to take a faux cut. So they're faux cut platforms. But what I've used them for is to store machinery parts. The blacksmith shop very much needs continued work. But in any case, in the meantime, this is the boneyard, you might say. Although those, you may recognize, those are bearing hangers for a line shaft. And I made a bunch of other ones too that I have inside. So it's basically a collection of all kinds of metal, which I had up there by that ash tree that died. And it was just a big pile that you didn't even know what was in there. So I built the platforms and then put a floor on. Nothing is nailed, nothing at all that you're looking at is nailed. And the weight helps a lot because the pigs can't, well, they maybe could, but they won't bother to try to heft it up and knock it apart. I had done it before, but I didn't have any weight on it, and the pigs did knock it apart. And when I'm done with them, or anytime I want, I can put a faux cut on top of them. So that was one thing I want to show you. Now I'm going to go along here and tune up my irrigation system. That's the pig cloister. We're going to go there too. I'm standing at the end of my irrigation system right now. This stuff you should probably recognize, the pig cloister. But anyway, here's the end of water that's coming from a spring. Right there you can see the end. Well, I come here and I'm going to lengthen it a little bit. This is basically dead level, and it'll follow that fence right over to the bottom of that telephone pole. And it may just do it on its own at a certain point. It's just that close to level. But I'm going to come here, and typically what I do all the time when I build onto these, I'll make a cut here, here, and here, and then remove the glebe, putting the roots downward, and just move on. I'm working my way up along the ditch, walking in it, because pressing the bottom with my feet helps in itself. But I had to stop here because I don't know if you can see him or not. If I get close enough, he'll swim. There's a salamander. This is November, or no, late October. Now there you can see it's spilling a little bit. So I'll thicken. I'll take a little bit of ground off the upslope side, put it on the downslope side to seal that up a little bit. I mean, that would be fine if I wanted it to, but right now I'd like it to keep going along. That's why I refer to this as tuning, because it's so delicate. It's really within a ½ inch or less. The precision, the sharpness, if you will, of the breast of that zanja, or ditch, if you want to call it that. So you can see it's muddy where I carved out a little bit from the top and set it down there. I'm not even going to press it with my boots. It's close enough. I'm going to continue on up. That's where I was. Here's the pig cloister. And I've walked my way up. There was a little bit of an elevation. I'm at maybe a 4, maybe 6 inch higher elevation right here than I was. There was a drop structure that I went across. But this is, earlier in videos, I referred to this as my beaver dam, Frank's beaver dam, because I built this up with sticks and then put mud on top of it, just like a beaver would, and I maintain it, and I could keep doing it. I'm going to build another one down there. So you can see I started to pile up brush that I'll use, but that's not, I'm not in a big hurry for that. Now I'm going to move, oh, I wanted to show you something else too. This surface water, you see it rained last night and it's raining now. This, I watch. If it were bubbling out, if it were making an Oyodogwa or a spring, I'd have to do something about it right away. But I'll probably ditch the pig cloister the whole way around and put a drain probably right through here. Somewhere like that, I don't know. Ah, it's raining. Sure it was. You might be able to hear this rain. And this now continues to be dead level, dead level, dead level, the whole way back to there where there was a spring house. And the pigs are helping me to expose all the rocks. And I'll eventually be able to figure out just how did that spring house lay. I know where the source of it was. This water is coming around it. This isn't right out of the spring. This is coming from a water supply, a zanja, a leat, if you will, up there, which I'll go up to in a moment. The spring was down there, and now I'm up to what I call the Grand Canal. It's the principal supply of water for that area. And there we have a genuine leak. It's pretty much always like that because I could, if I spent a lot of time here, I could fix it. But it's hard to fix because this is on stone. There was a village here, and there are stone paved roads and all kinds of stuff. And if I try to get a little bit of sod, which I'll do, to throw into those leaks, I hit stone. I hit stone. It's hard to get a little bit of sod, but I still will anyway. And then I'm going to head back on down. I was up there, and I'm on my way back past the pig cloister. But I wanted to show you this. Now this is wide, and why it's so wide, the water looks like it's going back. I don't think it is. I think it's, I don't know, maybe it is. Which, yeah, it might be. It could be. It could. This water could flow in either direction. But anyway, I stopped here because it's so wide. And why it's so wide is because it's level. This is on level ground. There probably was a building here that was made level. I'm not sure about it. But so the breast of this Grand Canal, you might say, is right there. And as long as that's not leaking, I have no problem with this. I think permaculture people would call it a pond, but I don't build ponds. Anyway, we're going over that way now. Well, there's no doubt what direction the water's flowing in here. You can see it. I've just been through there digging, muddying it up. Today would be a fine day actually to open up the hatch here that's going to run water over a water wheel right there. I've got pipe which I probably will use, but I wouldn't have to. And it would be very easy to just open up that hatch and start that back up. But I think I'll wait about another day. Take a look at the weather forecast. Because when I open this hatch, at that point, this water will keep coming like it is. But the water from that side where I started, it'll start coming the opposite direction. It'll start coming here. So the entire Grand Canal will be emptying down over that water wheel. I'm going to continue on and actually show you what brought me down here today. Rain's picking up. One of the reasons, on my way, I want to stop here and show you what it looks like inside the pig cloister. This is not done, not by any means, but it's far enough as I could take it at that time. What I wanted to show you though is that tire, which I didn't know what I was going to do with. I'm going to dig a hole. It's in the right spot. I'm going to dig a hole and I'm going to bury it just a little bit, just below grade. And I'm going to put a chain, 6 sections of chain around it as weight for the windmill that I'm going to build. And then a chain, because I've got old pieces of chain that they don't rust up much. And as long as I loop around it, I can then use high tensile fence wire to go to the 6 legs of the windmill. Now, I want to show you up there something that I did yesterday, but then I'm going to take a picture. I'll end this up with a picture up there that window where you see something orange above it. And you'll see what all this looks like. Okay, Adam the Oxman and I spent almost 2 hours bringing those timbers down. The day before, I had spent piling the blocks up, and I put 5 of those 4x4s on there because I was expecting a lot of weight, which I got. I'm going to get up on there and show you. It'll be easier to explain, but I'll tell you now, I think I've got the makings of an entire sawmill here. It'll be a bandsaw mill though, which it wasn't before. Most of the material is up on the hill, and it's castings and steel. That's the power plant, which my neighbor and I converted from a riding lawnmower. There's the saw. Well, I'll get up on the platform. Oh, but look at how massive these are. I'll tell you the story of this sawmill maybe in a comment or something. These are, maybe you can tell, these are telephone poles that were sawed up. And of course they were treated with creosote. They've been out in the weather for, I don't know, maybe 50 years. At my place for about 10. And a guy, a student's grandfather, was rebuilding a sawmill. But he kind of ran out of time and got too old and gave it to his grandson. And his grandson sold it to me for $150 because he was a senior and he got caught with some drugs and he had to come up with the money. That was his fine. The judge was being easy on him. And he was going to scrap it. And I said, well, we negotiated a little bit. He would have got more than that, but it would have been a lot of work to scrap it. So I'll tell you more about this later, but I'm going to get up on there. This one on top is full of moss and dirt and stuff. There was a crack in it, and it was laying that side up, obviously, because of the grass. But this lumber, once it's treated, and I would never deal with treated lumber by my doing, but it was already done. It's poisoned. You know, nothing will destroy it, pretty much. But anyway, they're here. All right, there's the saw blade. I've got 2 others like it that aren't damaged. This one I didn't mind leaving it out in the weather because it's damaged possibly beyond repair. That's part of what I'm going to use to drive the blade, that axle, and a separate tire as well, but probably not that one. It's going to go, the saw pit will probably be about there, and lumber for it will come this way, and there's the power plant for it, if it'll still run. It's been a while. So over there's where I started, blacksmith shop, Grand Canal, bottom of the irrigation system, pig cloister. Beyond it, the spring, up there where I patched the major or clear leak, and then you can see that spool where I'm going to put a water wheel. All right, now I'm going to go up in the barn and show you from up there. One other thing, I've got 2 wheels there, steel wheels from an old hay rake, gravity pull, horse pulled, gravity driven hay rake. I've got them, and I think I can work on them enough that I can put them inside the bandsaw and not drive with them, but that'll take some doing, but I think I can do it. And there'll be a 3rd wheel. It'll be like a triangle, really. It won't just be straight up and down one wheel to the other, the bandsaw. It'll have an outrigger wheel, because that way I won't have to bend that saw so tight. All right, now I'm going up there. Thought of still one more thing to tell you. I intend to bring a penstock in the spring, drive with water down underneath that saw pit. It'll empty into the Grand Canal. You can see the water's moving along in the Grand Canal. I'll dig back, and that's going to be about a 30-foot drop, because the entrance to that penstock is beyond that upper barn by maybe 60 feet. It'll probably be about 4 inches in size, and it'll have a lot of pressure. It'll drive a fast wheel, something like a maybe a Pelton wheel or something like a Pelton wheel. Now I'll try again about going up to the. There's where I was standing last. There's where the sawmill's going to go. Fill that whole area right there. There's the blacksmith shop, irrigated pasture, pig cloister. There's the tire that I'm going to bury and wrap chains around for a weight. The spring and the original spring structure, house or full house or spring houses, is there. As I say, the Grand Canal normally comes from that direction this way, but when in the summer, I let it, when it gets really dry, I let it go on, which is the case now. But as soon as the rain or the water starts on the other side from a different creek, it'll come this way, and the two together will go down then over that way. This is where I feed pigs. I throw shelled corn out the window, and I'm going to terrace this. It's going to be a challenge because, you know, you'd think, oh, pigs will really make a muddy mess of that. I think I can do it if we work together. All right, lots more to say about the pig cloister, but that model of a windmill tower that I've been posting, it'll go right there over that tire, that big tractor tire.